Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your hostess, Rita. That's Aaron. Welcome back, Aaron.
Yes, I'm back from being sick. I finally am able to taste cigars again. Still got some crud, but I'm feeling okay. So, with that said, we are going to be smoking a Cinco Vega A. Now, just a little background. I've smoked a couple Cinco Vegas recently on our channel. The A is one of their better known. This is called the Friggin A, which is a special limited edition size. It has, like the Gurkha Blue Steel that Rita had the other day, it has a, what do you call it, a Costa Rican Maduro wrapper, which is one of the most expensive wrappers on the market to purchase. Now, a little story about Cinco Vega. Back during the early 90s, during the cigar boom, a bunch of blenders got together.
It says right there on the band, the limited edition.
Yes. But a bunch of blenders got together, 5 of them. And so they called themselves 5 Vega. 5 blenders, whatever. I don't know what the Vega actually means. But anyways, they started blending this, and I saw the name. I don't remember it. But they sold out to the Cigar International. And Cigar International bought up the blend. And the A series at one point may have been blended by Don Pepin Garcia. But now it's apparently blended by Nestor Plasencia. So, and it's totally different than the AAA. The AAA is blended by AJ Fernandez. So, one thing about the Cinco Vegas is that the blenders are almost always different for each stick. And it is a CI-owned cigar. However, I do believe that you can get the Cinco Vegas through other companies as well. But it is CI-owned.
Cigar.com sells them too.
Yes. So,
but I've never seen them at Famous.
So I'm going to go ahead and remove this sheath, cedar sheath, and got a nice dark oily looking stick here. Looks nicely constructed. I've got a few little marks here, but that's all right. No leaf is perfect. It seems very consistent in texture and shape. Kind of smells meaty off the stick.
Dark earth. That's all I'm picking up.
I would say it smells a little like a mild milk bone, to be honest.
Have you ever tried a milk bone?
Yes, actually I have. Sometimes I'm curious, what is it that I'm feeding my dog? And so sometimes I will taste it to see if it's anything like it. In fact, not long ago there was these chicken dog biscuits, and I decided to try one, and it tasted like salmon. Seriously. And it's like, how can they classify this as chicken? Oh yeah, they don't think that anybody will ever try it, so you'll never know. You'll just feed it to your dog. If it's not edible for me, it's not edible for him. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, poor little baby.
So, anyways, dry puff has a really nice flavor. Kind of, I'm not good at picking that up, but it's sweet. Kind of marshmallowy cherry flavor. I'm looking forward to trying this. Raisin, I bet. Marshmallow raisin. That's a good way to put it. Don't tell me I gotta adjust the flame on this. It's just working for me. That's one thing I hate about these lighters, is that you have it set right, and then all of a sudden it no longer wants to work at that setting. Then you got to go and change it. You got to get out a screwdriver, and it's like having a delicate operation. And Why can't they have a lighter that just stays right where it's supposed to be at all times, so all you have to do is flick it and it's on? But I do have to say, I'm loving this Firebird. It consumes very little fluid, triple burner, does a nice even job of lighting. Great lighter.
Look at this. He's in the video. Hello, Mooper.
It's kind of windy in there. The flavors are very mild in this so far.
I'm picking up toasted cedar, and it's very mild.
Just kind of slightly citrusy on the retrohale. And for those who are wondering what a retrohale is, best way to explain it is you take a puff off your cigar, you blow out about half the smoke, and then you try to essentially draw the smoke to the back of your throat and exhale through your nose.
But
Do not accidentally inhale trying to do that. It's not a good thing, and it can make you cough if you're not used to it. But it does have a kind of citrusy flavor back there. They say that there's more receptors to flavor in the nasal cavity than there are in the mouth, which is kind of surprising. I guess that's why we pick up so many scents and why smell helps us identify with food. You smell pizza, you know pizza, you taste pizza. But if you have a pizza that smells like shrimp, pizza doesn't taste like pizza, you know, it tastes like shrimp. Mildly cocoa.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Kind of a citrusy cocoa so far.
This is the 8.5 incher.
Oh yes, 8.5 Friggin A.
Just like a 10-inch by 40. Which I apologize. We got to upload sometime today the blue steel.
Yes. Because I got sick, that one kind of fell off the radar, and we didn't get it uploaded. And I got to edit some that Rita uploaded, and
I hope Aaron will take the egg challenge when it comes to the tobacco.
well, I technically took the egg challenge. That was no good.
No, I'm talking about the tobacco in the box.
Yes.
I did it.
I will try it.
It burns in about 7 to 10 minutes. You can take a, it depends. You said you wanted to try it in a briar pipe. I tried it in yellow bowl because that stuff is, I don't want it gunking up my pipe.
Well, anyways, I suppose we should get back to you on the halfway point instead of just having you watch us smoke.
Okay, later.
See you in a bit. Hello and welcome back to a little beyond the halfway point on this Cinco Vega A, or Series A. Mostly what I'm kind of picking up is kind of a dark rye raisin, kind of a cocoa-y, and maybe just a tinge of white pepper. That's kind of what I'm picking up.
I'm picking up nuts. Plain nuts. And I've been getting wonky burns on this.
And there's, hate to say it, I was joking with Rita beforehand, but there's kind of a taste of asparagus. I just was playing with the voices, but yeah, there's a slight taste of asparagus in here, as odd as it is. So
I'm only picking up hints of nuts.
particularly on the retrohale there. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll get into the final third of this and get back to you. It's been pretty short for us here. Hello and welcome back to the final third of this Cinco Vega A, Series A. Flavors have increased significantly, and a little bit of body too. It's kind of gotten very woodsy and nutty to me, and those are the two primary flavors. A hint of sweetness and some spice as well. It's not as flavorful as it was, but it's still pretty decent. I definitely like the stick.
Gotta do my nails today.
I definitely like the stick. Definitely would recommend it at some point.
My turn?
Yeah.
Tasting woodsy notes, nuts, cedar. I'm going to agree with him on the spice, but I'm going to say, since he says, because I have a mild throat irritant and it's like a light sore throat, he says he doesn't understand how I can taste it. I'm picking up Ligero in the final third of the transition.
Well, that's
of the
cigar. Spice there.
Exactly.
This cigar is definitely given some transition towards the final third, and I would assume that transition is actually intended, rather than some transitions that seem to just be, error by the binder. I was talking to a good friend about that yesterday.
Would that be Johnny Sticks?
Yes, and it'd be kind of hard to explain, but in a lot of cigars, the buncher basically takes all the tobacco, lays it out, and rolls. And when they do so, they're supposed to try to have even amounts if the blend calls for this or that. However, like recipes, sometimes the buncher will have too much of this tobacco there and too much of that tobacco there and not enough of this tobacco here, and they'll roll it up, and so you'll get unintentional transitions. Whereas sometimes the buncher will actually be almost flawless every time putting it out, and they'll put intended transitions in it by making sure that the recipe matches up where it's supposed to go.
What Aaron's trying to say, I think, because that went over my head, is he's trying to say it is a cigar is like rolling up a burrito. You got one section, then you got another section, then another section, etc.
Exactly.
Roll it up.
For instance, if you want your burrito to have a lot of corn in the final third and be a very corn-based tortilla or burrito, and you want a lot of bean at the beginning, you make sure that when you layer your burrito, you put the beans here and the corn there, and then when you roll it up, you'll have that transition from bean to corn. However, if it's supposed to be bean-corn even, to use her words, and the buncher doesn't pay attention and just slops the corn on there like Taco Bell does sometimes, leaving the beans on the other side because they just put a big dab with one spoon, and so all your beans are here and the corn's there. You just got a transition that's not even supposed to be there. So that's kind of what I've been trying to say. And I think this one is a very intentional transition from that mild-bodied kind of raisin, dark rye sort of into a spicier, nuttier note.
Don't forget, for example, and Aaron could probably vouch for me there, is if you look at Vegas 5, they got that limited edition every year. That's just like a Gurkha HMS. There's only 100 boxes made, I think it is.
I know that.
Or whatever it is, but it's like 120 bucks for 10 cigars, but they're in glass tubes and they're Vegas 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see them. But they are supposedly a CI exclusive. At least they are owned by CI. So even if CI is selling them other places, they are owned by Cigar International.
I have a feeling Cigar.com is part of CI. So
I was actually reading a report where it said that they were bought up by Cigar International. So,
well, not a big deal in my opinion. So,
and it's quite frequent sometimes for some of these cigar manufacturers, not manufacturers, but cigar dealerships like Cigar International, Cigar.com, Thompson, to buy a band and label name to use, which could be very reason why Thompson is the only one who has the Nub Sumatra, is they could have bought the idea to the Nub Sumatra, had labels printed up, and now they're the ones rolling it, so it could be a Thompson exclusive because of that.
All of that Studio Tobac's making it. It's just an exclusive. However...
Well, there's always different reasons, but that is one of the reasons out there, is that Thompson could have bought the rights to make Sumatra cigars.
Well, it's a limited edition, is what it says by...
there's always the chance that, well, the other thing is that oftentimes these blenders will end up blending like 100 different blends, and 20 of them are on the market, but they have 80 sitting in their warehouse and nobody's buying them. There's no want for them. All of a sudden somebody comes along and says, we'll buy all of them. They buy them all. I got this from a fairly decent source, and then they'll basically stick the label on it because they bought the rights to the label and to the blend, and then they'll change the blend afterwards.
I know Finsk, for example, uses the
and if you want to think that I'm if you want to think I'm crapping you, I'm going to go ahead and cite my source, which this source, well, you know, is Brian at Cigar Obsession in his video on the Noventa from Carlos Tarano. It was a crap stick. He explained why it was a crap stick. And then he goes and tells how he knows what may have happened, but he says, I can't divulge the names of the people who told me. So, you know, I'm trusting Brian over there because he's been doing cigar reviews and he's very well trusted. But, you know, we like to do our own too, just so that there's more options out there than, you know, a couple people.
What I wanted to say is Finsk went down to Estel, Nicaragua, I believe it is, Esteli, right? And when they were there, there was tobacco that was in storage that was planned to be used for a different blend, but that fell through from one company. So Finch turned around and said, hey, if you can roll us up some cigars, we will do our commerce, like, limited edition or whatever.
It's like Five Vegas. Five Vegas outsources their bunching and their blending to various blenders. Like, as I was saying, this one was apparently at one point done by Pepin Garcia. At another point, it's been done by Nestor Plasencia, who seems to be the main blender for the Cinco Vegas now. But for the AAA, it's AJ Fernandez who does it. And I believe there's a couple other blenders who've done several other blends. I just don't remember offhand now who did what. But they always seem to outsource. It's like Gurkha. Gurkha outsources a lot of theirs too.
I was going to say, you know, one of the sources that Aaron's talking about, I believe it was, for example, you get one company that mass produces a lot of cigars. They'll bring out something and stick their own house blend, like, say, Holtz, and it could be a Rocky Patelin, but no one knows. It's just called Holtz.
Yeah, well, that's probably because they went down to one of these blenders and looked through their warehouse and said, hey, you're trying to get rid of these at a penny a piece? We'll take all of them. So they take all of them, and they decide to stick the Holtz wrapper on it rather than the original companies because they bought the rights to the blend.
Well, like someone said once in one of our reviews about the Mulligans being renamed the Cargos, you know, the Cargos are the Mulligans.
And I'll tell you that Rocky Patel may very well take a lot of his blends and just stick different wrappers on it and make them exclusives other places. But I'll tell you that the Cargo is not any of the Rocky Patel Mulligans, and it does not match up with the Ocean Club or the Velvet, which are all at Holtz. So, you know, it is totally possible that Rocky Patel could have Blend Z and be selling Blend Z to 4 different companies, all for them to stick their own labels on. And they're called exclusives when they're all still Blend Z. Totally possible that that can happen. Doesn't mean that it is happening. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen either. So, you know, cigars are a fun little thing, though. And sometimes I do look at, like, the Rocky Patels, and I try this Rocky Patel next to that Rocky Patel, and I'm wondering, are these similar flavors? I wish I could have an entire lineup of every Rocky Patel cigar and just sit there and smoke one after another, day after day,
I do want it.
so that I could sit there and say, hey, this blend is the same as that blend.
Well, if you pay attention to Cigar International, for example, and you go to their cigar legends, each blender, like Rocky Patel's got one, Camacho, etc., but they just call it legends. And
But
usually they're in like
as you may know, if you've ever bought boxes or bundles of at least 20, when you're smoking through those 20, you'll have probably at least 2 that don't burn perfect. You'll have a couple that have a transition that the other ones didn't have. You'll have one that doesn't even taste like the rest of them. And you're sitting there like, this doesn't taste like the rest of the Chilling Mooses in this Chilling Moose box. This one tastes different. And so sometimes it can be hard to tell just because there can be mistakes. And you may have a mistake next to one that's rolled right, and they taste totally different when if you had them both rolled right, they taste the same, and you'd say, this is the same stick. So,
yeah,
it's very difficult to tell. It's a game of Russian roulette sometimes, whether, you know, this blend is that blend or whatever.
as I'm going to say, and I do this in a lot of the videos for reviews, and everyone that is our subscriber will know, a cigar is still hit and miss. Whether you're paying $750 for a Gurkha or $250 for a Daniel Marshall DM2, they're all hit and miss.
I mean, I really wish that there was more information on the cigar fillers and stuff. Like, a lot of times you'll just hear Nicaraguan tobacco. Nicaraguan tobacco, okay. There's a lot of different blends that are grown in Nicaragua. Which blends are being in this? Nicaraguan tobacco. It's a Nicaraguan Maduro wrapper, okay, but what type of tobacco was grown to make the Maduro? Because the Maduro is only a color. So you're talking about a very long fermented dark leaf that was picked late in the planting cycle. So with this dark leaf, you have, it could be a Cuban seed, which is a Habano essentially in Nicaragua. You could have a Connecticut broadleaf or a Connecticut shade that wouldn't be in the shade. It's where they grow them up there. They do it in a valley with mist, and it causes the effect of shade, but you can get a Maduro from that. So the tobaccos could come from Esteli. They could come from just about anywhere. Esteli's Nicaragua, yeah. But, you know, the point is, just knowing Nicaraguan tobacco tells you really absolutely nothing. It could be a Nicaraguan Olor strain, which means that it could be very dry. And this is very dry. So I would have figured that there's some Olor in here. It's drying on the mouth.
I do want to say I recommend this Vegas 5 cigar. I also wanted to say I do want to say that this king size has smoked so far 2 hours and 6 minutes, or 2 hours, yeah, 2 hours and
Friggin A.
2 hours and actually almost 30 minutes. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and give a recommendation of this, and this Friggin A is actually Friggin A.
I don't know how long these have been humidifying in Johnny Sticks cigar, but I just want to say thanks again to Johnny Sticks. Yep. Oh, and before we go, Aaron, it's time. It's time for you to talk to the camera, to DSR, about these cigars we're getting.
You know, I hate to say it, but we would have done an unboxing of your fine order if you wanted us to, but you actually asked for some stuff that you sent us to not be mentioned, and so we only mentioned you in 2 of the cigars that we reviewed. But we would have been glad to do an unboxing of what was sent from you as well. It's our way of saying thank you. It's our way of showing, you know, that we're appreciative of your actions. It's great what Johnny Sticks has done for us. He's wanted to give back to the community. He knows that it costs money for us to do this, to bring you guys reviews. And so he just wanted to say thank you by sending us some sticks. And, you know, he bombed the heck out of us. That doesn't make us moochers. That, you know, because we benefited like that, that's really kind of cool. But, you know, we appreciate what you guys did too. And we just weren't able to give you the thanks because you didn't want the thanks. You actually asked not to have it. So, anyways, doesn't really matter. I noticed you deleted the comments. That's cool. And I know that you guys were there to back me and support me when people were harassing me and telling me just, you know, move on, don't let it get to you. It kind of was sad actually to know your comments, that because we never truly mooched. In fact, we've said if you ever have anything you want us to review, you know, feel free to write us or message us. You know, gladly accept any if anybody wants to send some. And a lot of times, a lot of cigar reviewers do get sent cigars. Look at Brian at Cigar Obsession. He gets quite a bit, actually. He even gets Cubans for people to test. So, you know, there are people out there who want to help out reviewers.
However, I will say if Brian's watching this or Johnny Sticks sends this to Brian, dude, you're supposed to smoke the cigar, not dissect a Cuban, even if it's fake. I'd smoke it. I don't think.
Well, actually, those dissecting videos are kind of cool. You do learn something from them, and I do like them. So I appreciate them, and it seems better than not. A lot of Cubans are fake, even if they're bought from reputable sources. So, but that's beside the point. Didn't need to go there.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know, it just kind of hurt a bit, you know, because we consider you guys good friends, and
now
we really didn't expect that out of you guys. It wasn't rude to call us moochers. It was uncalled for, and you know, it actually is. Somebody I was talking about says it sounds like you're just jealous, and I don't like saying that term, but you know, that is what it appears. You said it appears like, you know, just saying, you know, it appears that you're mooching, just saying. Why? Because we did an unboxing video to say thank you. It appears that we're mooching. You know, it appears that you're jealous. Just saying. It can be turned around, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. Somebody else said that, and I'm just quoting that.
I do want to say that
I still love your channel. I wish you guys would do some more reviews. I actually miss the fact you guys haven't been doing reviews, and I wonder how you're doing.
Well, we got an email.
I still consider you good friends.
And they're doing fine.
Well, I still consider you good friends, so don't think just because, you know, this little comment fiasco thing, it's kind of got me a little upset right now. I forgive. So.
I tried to explain it to them. I also wanted to say that if you think I'm mooching, what I said in my previous videos, DSR, is that and people sometimes hear me say, oh, well, this is on my smoking list that I want to try, or this one, but if anyone out there wants us to review these ones that we haven't tried, or any ones we haven't tried, we'll gladly do it in review because we love it.
And we do turn it into a big joke when we're saying something like an HMS Gurkha. They're $750 a stick. That's more than we make in a month, pretty much, for 2 of those. And nobody's going to gift that. So we're quite happy saying, if anybody wants to gift us that, yeah, it comes off as mooching when we do that, but, you know, nobody's going to do that. So, but if we sat there and said, hey, can you send us a couple cargos? Somebody might sit there and say, oh, you want some Rocky Patel cargos? Those are dirt cheap. You know what? I got a dozen of them, and I hate these things. You want them? I'll give them to you. That's kind of more mooching. Or if somebody says, oh, I just bought a 5-pack of these in a comment, we say, oh, we've never tried those. Mind sending us 2? That would be mooching. But we've never done anything like that. So.
Yep. So, with that said, everyone, sorry for the long video for the final
This has
third.
kind of gotten into a rant, and didn't mean to get into such a rant, but it turned that way, and
My fault.
And I am not lambasting you at all, DSR. You're cool guys. Love your show, and we hope that you get back to doing videos. You kind of came back, and that was really cool, but 6 videos isn't much of a comeback for a year. So we're looking forward to more. Hope to see more from you guys.
And I did thank them for sending an email to me when I told them I'm about to be going to have surgery in the next 4 to 5 days. So they said, best of luck with it. So, with that said, even though, you know, Aaron can't believe that I still have taste buds, please and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestion. May God bless you in everything you do. And enjoy every puff.